Good afternoon, everyone. This is the meeting of the Town of Fort Myers Beach Bay Oaks Recreation Center. And it is Wednesday, June 25th, 2025, and it is 12 p.m. And I'd like to call this meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And we begin with the roll call. Karen, I'll start with you.
Karen Woodson, Council Liaison.
Michelle Trini.
Let's go over.
Barbara Hill. Joyce Sullivan.
Neil Mathis, Parks and Rec Manager.
Thank you. And then I believe we now have John on the audio portion. He hasn't come on yet, really. So we'll defer that action until John gets on board, and then we'll have the approval of the minutes, assuming everyone has had a chance to review the minutes. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. And a second?
I'll second.
Joy, second. Any suggestions, additions, amendments to the minutes? None. Then the vote to approve the minutes by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carried. Thank you. And let the minutes also reflect that from our meeting last month, the minutes reflect too that Becky Petrie is excused for this month. Betty Simpson is excused and then we're expecting John to be joining us shortly. Public comment, there's no one in the audience at this time. We'll go to the staff liaison report. Neil.
Okay. Again, Neil Mathis, Parks and Rec Manager, for the record. Okay, so just kind of going over just new updates for Bay Oaks. Our summer camp is currently underway. We're in our third week. We have 34 campers signed up, and that's between our kindergarten through third grade group and our fourth through sixth grade group. So Town Hall is currently partially running out of the rec center front desk and the side room just behind us here. The hours are Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. And that includes basically beach parking, hurricane reentry passes, permitting, and utilities, payments, and questions. So our bathroom partitions for our men and women's restrooms, that's our main restrooms on the main entrance and the side entrances of the rec center were completed just this past Monday. And then you probably saw, it went out on Facebook, we were offering reduced rates for the Bay Oaks Rec Center through August 15th. And that's for daily passes, for indoor pickleball. So if you're a Fort Myers Beach resident, it'll be no charge, and then if you're a non-resident, it's $5. So basically, residents were $5, and then non-residents were $10. So basically, it's $5 off. We're going to run that through August 15th. And those rates will also apply for anyone that's coming in to use the weight room and the cardio room. And then that equipment's, you should have it the week of July 7th, and hopefully we will open that next week, the week of July 14th, once we get all the equipment kind of in.
Wasn't the equipment to arrive this month? Was it delayed?
It was delayed, yeah. So that hasn't been extended since we got the last update. So yeah, it's just unfortunate. We were hoping to have it for June. But yeah, so we're kind of doing a phased reopening right now. And we did start, we talked about the reduced rates, but we did start indoor pickleball this week, and that's going to be every Tuesday and Thursday from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. We'll have 3 of our 6 courts available, since we do have the kids in here on the other side, still with the summer camp going on. We started that yesterday. We had 6 folks that showed up, so it was good. Everybody was really happy about the courts and no dead spots. Nice, good bounce on the ball, so I was really happy with that. Everybody said that the grip was also really good on the court, so I think we get a lot of nice compliments when you have everybody kind of come back and play. And then also on Fridays, we're going to be offering open gym for basketball from 5 to 7 p.m. So that starts this Friday, and that's kind of what we're going to be offering. Those times and days will be going through the summer. We talked about the cardio equipment. Currently for the 4th of July parade, we have 15 floats signed up, and that the timeline to apply is through the end of this week. We're going to put another reminder out, I believe, today, just so we can hopefully get a few more signed up. And then we are looking at having a reopening event for the rec center. We've already reached out to a lot of the community foundations, just let them know, hey, like, we want to do this. We're going to be back to you with a date. So we're looking at probably late July, early August with that, and I should have that exact date by end of this week or first thing next week. As far as pool updates, so the last request for bid that was advertised that went out, we still just have our 2 bids. We didn't get a 3rd bid, so because of the way it works, we have to go out for one more final attempt and advertise it again for 30 days to try to get a 3rd bid. Because this will be the 3rd time doing so. If we don't get a 3rd bidder, we are okay to go with one of the 2 that have already bid.
I'm sorry, repeat that again?
So if we don't get a 3rd bid on this 3rd attempt, we're okay with going with one of the 2 that have already bid.
So
but we just have to do it one more time because of the legalities of that. And it's advertised nationally through a website called Demand Star, and it's also advertised on the town's website. So, but it has gone out nationally. And then just a little bit about the revitalization project, and that was mentioned at the last council meeting. So right now, that is underway, and it was basically approved that we're going to have 4 pickleball courts added to Bay Oaks, and that will be kind of like the trailer around the area where the administration trailer was, not the trailer where you did the council meetings, but the one that's kind of like when you first pull in on the side.
Right.
Yeah, so those will be over there. We'll have a shaded rest area for the pickleball courts that will be included. A large multi-use field where all the construction, the debris is right now. And then we're going to also have crushed shell walking trails that will kind of go throughout the park, and then we'll connect to, there's a little bit of trail like that kind of goes behind the tennis courts right now, so that'll all kind of connect in one large trail. And so that that is slated for completion by the end of August, so that's the time frame on that. I know that's coming soon. So that's my update. That's my report.
Can we do an upgrade on the advertising that you're doing for the facilities? I just took a picture of it. There is nothing stated that there are outdoor pickleball courts. It looks like you're just open to play pickleball on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
And just to give you an example, we had like 6 girls that,
Right.
and I had a situation where I had some people
Okay.
I waited to out at a restaurant. They're like, where do you play pickleball on the island? And they were staying right here.
Okay.
And so one is the ad that you put out on, that's the Facebook ad,
Sure.
to add on there that there's outdoor courts 7 days a week back there, because we are looking for players back there, and people are looking to play. And then second, if they could be so kind to maybe put a sign on the building that they're back behind here, because they're hard to find.
Okay.
People get lost, they don't know that, keep walking, get behind here, the courts are back there. I know we're pickleball advocates, but I'm going to keep pushing it because people look to go on vacation, they want to play pickleball. And if we haven't, to make sure that Margaritaville's get noted that we've got outdoor courts over here, because I can tell you that we've had Margaritaville likes at times. I think we'd have a lot more if it was advertised that we are over here for a getaway.
Maybe there's been some kind of flyers, because I know we put those rack cards in for Lover's Key at Margaritaville. They allow you to do rack cards and advertising and things, so maybe you can do that.
But yeah, all the ads you do right now, there's nothing stated that we have outdoor courts available here 7 days a week.
Okay.
Thank you.
So can I ask a question on the parade, the 4th of July parade? So is the town going to have a float?
Yes, we have a float.
You do have a float, okay. What is that one going to be, do you know?
I mean, we're going to use one of the like flatbed trailers from Public Works Department, so that should be dropped off behind the building like early next week, so we can get it all decorated and ready to go.
So, and are we going to have any kind of like marching band or anything, or?
I don't. We haven't had a band, as far as applications received, but I mean we have a pretty good variety. Coast Guard Auxiliary's got a float. There's an honor guard with Regional Southwest TSA that's going to be in the parade. I mean, we have some residents, a lot of the local like restaurants. So, but yeah, I don't have a marching band or anything like that. But we're actually going to have some of our summer camp kids. We have a sign-up sheet. Been asking parents, so anybody that wants to have their son or daughter, and we have room for about 20 kids on the trailer. So yeah, and the staging area will be here for the morning of, just like it's always been. So.
That was my other question too. How many kids do we have signed up for summer camp?
Yes, we have 34 signed up right now.
How many?
34.
34?
Yeah, and I mean, we have a few more in the younger age group, the K through 3rd, but it's, we have, it's almost equal. I think it's like 2 or 3 more in the K through 3rd, so.
They're so cute. We have little crabs and chameleons running around inside the facility, and I'm playing pickleball, and they go out the back door and they let them out.
Yeah, we get the little fiddler
They come
crabs
out with their
in.
little napkins, the door opens, they look and they throw them out and push shut the door.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
That's funny.
Okay, anything more to report, Neil, with your staff report?
No, that's it.
Okay, great. Let's move on to the other discussion. Our main part of the agenda today is the fee schedule. The research was done apparently by Aaron and gave a report which you have in front of you. It kind of looks at Lee County Parks and Rec, Bonita, Sanibel, to determine what their fee schedules are and how it matches with our current and certainly what we need to deal with regard to proposed fee schedule. So I'll open it up for discussion. I didn't have a chance to review this in advance, so I'm just kind of going back and forth now to kind of see.
I also, because I had volunteered last time, did the same research that they did, came up to the same conclusion, but I think the one area that we should consider is, I think our regular residential and non-residential fees are in line with the other parks,
Yes.
but all of them charge a separate fee for the gym. And the gym is something that even they, so here, the fitness centers, this is all Lee County, is an additional, they charge $20 per month, $80 for 6 months, or $120 per year, in addition to the $10 or $25 to just use the rec center. And I think the gym does add value.
You're talking about the exercise equipment.
Exercise room,
The weight
correct,
room.
the weight room, correct.
Okay.
But all of the facilities in Lee County charge separate for the gym. And I think, that's fair.
I do too.
And especially because there's a lot more maintenance back there, and
Those are the equipment.
correct, and the equipment. So I think we're all aligned, and we don't want to raise the fees with everything that's happened for the rec center, but I would like to present that we add on a fee used with the gym.
The only thing I would point out with that is, if we charge for that, and I understand like a lot of the other municipalities in the county does, it's just, we don't have the amenities that a lot of the, like Sanibel, especially Lee County has. Like some of them offer like some of their fitness classes included with their regular membership, which we, that's basically they have to pay our instructors like separately. So I just could, I mean, if you charge another fee for that, really like the only thing that's really included in the membership that they're paying monthly would be just like, you know, I guess open gym for basketball, because we're charging a fee for the pickleball, for the indoor pickleball. I mean, you get the you know, the outdoor courts for free, obviously, but you don't have to have a membership for that. So I don't know. I mean, I get where you're coming from. I just, it's hard because, you know, we have been, you know, getting things back and so many enclosures with the storms, and you know, I don't want to, you know, I kind of want to give folks a break. And I mean, you know, I think non-residents, I think we can do a lot better job, just from what I've kind of seen since I've started getting the word out to like the resorts, especially when we get to season. I think we can get a lot more folks in here to use the gym that are non-residents, to play pickleball that are non-residents, that are visiting. But yeah, I would just, I don't know. I guess if you do it for your, if you make it a fee for your residents, you probably have to kind of like also make it for non-residents, because that's how the way we do things now. You know.
Well, it's very hard to gauge because, you know, you've not been here during the time that the weight room has been open to determine the number of people that come, which then it could be in a position to, we could be in a position to raise the rates given the sheer numbers that we couldn't sustain. So that could be one way to look at it. But Neil's right. I mean, I looked at the other facilities years ago. Remember when we did the whole brainstorming thing about the big community center? Their rooms are ginormous. You know, they have all kinds of equipment, which we have one room, and it's very congested. I think someone was talking at one of our BORCAB meetings about you having to wend your way through the equipment because it was so tight. So I don't know that we offer something that can be charged for at this point.
And I certainly, like, once we get the pool back, I would, you know, love to see like some kind of a, if they do like a combined, we can do like a combined membership for the rec center and the pool at a discounted rate.
Well, what we did before, I mean, just like now, and it has been the case, there's always a charge each individual time for any of the fitness classes. And when we had pool aerobics at the pool, that was also a separate charge. But the weight room was always part of what is offered to the community as a community amenity. And I think that primarily had to do with the fact that those were instructors on call, where in the weight room we don't have any instructors. And that might be the difference between charging and not charging at this point. That's fair.
And like I know Planet Fitness, even though it's off island, it's not that far off island. And I mean, basically it's, you know, $12 a month for their entire thing, and it's huge.
Sure.
So
That's fair.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd love to, like, once we get through a full season, a full year, like, look at our numbers, look at, you know,
Well, we're actually
we'd have something to kind of compare to, because it's
I
just
agree.
been so, you know, open for a few months, then closed, and it's tough to gauge it from that.
Nope, I agree.
Well, I think the figures that we came to for our schedule in the past fiscal year, because we spent a lot of time working on this, I think was well thought out. Obviously, there were major corrections. Karen sort of speaks to that when we had that conversation when she was a member of BORCAB, that we had to radically change what was proposed. But this seems to have been equitable for what we can provide to the community. So I have no problem in keeping the fee schedule as it is. I guess my only question is, what is our budget for operating our Bay Oaks Recreational Center? And is this in line with at least helping to defray the expenses?
I don't have the figures in front of me for the budget, but no, I mean, I think it's in line. Certainly, we hope to you know, bring on some new programming to kind of also, you know, get some additional revenue coming in. Our BOSS program, we just basically, Barbara McDonald, who was a full-time rec aide, she was just promoted into that role. So she's already been working to get like the whole season coming up scheduled with trips. And that's one of the programs when we do our grand reopening that we want to kind of have her, manning a booth just to, give out information. But she's also been reaching out to a lot of the former residents that were involved in that program. So, but yeah, I mean,
She's real excited about it too.
oh yeah, she's gonna be
About
great.
it.
She's gonna be great. So she's just very high energy, very focused, and I know she's gonna do a great job. And she's like I said, she already started when we had like this week before we opened, where we were all over here. And she spent that whole week just like calling up different places to take everybody, and she's basically got like 2 trips, I believe, scheduled for like the entire season. So and she's got some great ideas. So I think that'll be a really successful program. But yeah, I mean, we can certainly look at that, but it's in line with how it's been like in the previous years. I know that.
I vote for a name change too.
Yeah.
Okay, so the BOSS program, and where you have it listed as seniors, which includes the trips and outings and so forth, is basically self-sustaining.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that they will have to, it's not all included, like some of the trips. Yeah, I guess I should.
It says 100% cost
Right,
recovered.
right, I
So
guess
could you elaborate on what that means?
Well, I mean, so whatever we basically, if we're going to an event, like whatever the ticket price is, like, we're going to basically make sure that, if we have 20 people, we're going to get the number of tickets for the folks that want to go. So we're not going to like eat the fees on the trips and that kind of thing.
So those are
and some of the,
refundable, those are refundable if the trip doesn't happen?
correct, yeah, and places that will work with us where, we have so much time, 30 days out, to let them know, like, we didn't sell this amount of tickets that we thought, and they'll take the tickets back. So just making sure we cover our costs like that. As a lifestyle director, that's how I kind of had to do events. I'd be very mindful of budget, so kind of used to that. So yeah, you just have to find places that are willing to work with you. So a lot of places are great like that. Some that aren't so great that we'll kind of stay away from. And once we kind of get our sign-ups, and we'll have a lot better idea with that, just interest. So we'd like to do some surveys and try to get an idea because we don't, we have things scheduled, but we haven't purchased. So we have a lot of flexibility right now to kind of change things around if we need to.
Well, and I think to Michelle's point, we've not been doing a lot of announcing and public announcements and ads on Facebook simply
Right.
because we don't have these programs in place quite yet, except for the pickleball. That's huge in terms of getting that word out.
And
That should have been happening all along.
Yeah.
And the tennis courts too, yeah, both of them.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
yes.
nope, I know, I
mean
was thinking
pickleball,
before.
of course. No, so, but once these programs are up and running, we really need to blast that information.
For sure, and I think, we'd like to do like some, like fun, like family style events, like, obviously we're gonna do our big events like Halloween, our Easter events, for instance, but like
Halloween.
Right, but we can do like, we can purchase like a blow-up movie screen and do like movies on the ball field and make it like a family night, and, charges a small fee for that. There's some new programming ideas. We want to start like a kickball league in the fall. And initially we had talked about doing it like where some of the resorts were able to have teams. So I think we could combine it to make it like, have like a team from Margaritaville, Big Shell, Doc Ford's interested. They want to have a team, and then we can also have some resident teams. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of programming that we haven't tried here. I think we just have to, take it a day at a time and know that some things might not take off exactly how we want it to right out of the gate, but not to be discouraged and just keep advertising. But getting out to the resorts, which from what I've seen, there hasn't been a huge push to kind of like get our advertising to them. So that's something that I plan on doing, and just, kind of some of the restaurants, some of the bigger, businesses, resorts, getting our word out about our programming. So I think that'll really.
What about that with regard to, forming partnerships or relationships with these various hotels and resorts. For example, because we do not have a pool, we will not have a
Right.
pool for probably 2 years.
Right.
Margaritaville offers
Mhm.
to the public a pool aerobics class Mondays and Thursdays.
Right.
And why would we not want to, because we don't have one, we're not in competition with them, offer that? They're also going
Right.
to start a whole gym program with fitness training,
Yeah.
like Zumba and Pilates. And so, until we get our ducks in a row and get
Right.
things fully operational, why would we not want to say, gosh, if you're visiting or you're a resident and you want to work out,
Right.
Margaritaville is available? It's a cross-promotional thing, and if we
Yeah,
do
I have to
that, I
see
think they
if we
would
can
also
do that.
be very supportive of Bears.
Sure. I have to, just reach out and see if that's.
Because I don't think
something
any
we can
other
do.
company, I don't think any other resort or business is offering that kind of thing. I think Margaritaville is the only one.
Okay.
And when we do get up and running, it would be really great if we could have those rack cards.
Right.
They're, like a third of the page, and have those printed with just
Yeah.
hours and what's available here and that kind of thing.
No, we have those still from before. We're just
Okay.
kind of holding off on
Yeah.
putting stuff
yeah.
out until
But they're
we're,
willing to,
Yeah.
all the resorts.
yeah,
are
until
willing to
we're,
take it.
fully operational.
Yeah.
But that'll be soon, so.
Well, just having it, to Karen's point, just having it right now reprinted, outdoor pickleball courts, outdoor tennis, indoor pickleball,
Right.
basketball, the gym will be open, and just getting that out to all those hotels, I think will have an immediate impact.
Okay.
Right.
I do agree, yeah.
So when you talk about advertising and marketing, what exactly do you do? I mean, how are we advertising and marketing? Is it just a Facebook page or?
Yeah, it's primarily Facebook and then our website. So.
The newsletter.
And the newsletter thing too. We do a monthly newsletter. So, but we put out a lot of updates about our summer camp and some of the photos on the field trips. But yeah, certainly we can do more of that, and then we can kind of drop our flyers off to the resorts. Advertising some of their programming. That's what like for Margaritaville, aerobics, water aerobics. I've got to look into that, what we can do as far as that.
Do the resorts have activity directors for the most part, or like ships and cruise ships have activity directors or whatever? Is that who you would contact with?
I believe Margaritaville does.
Margaritaville does, I think Pink Shell does.
I'm not sure about Diamond
They do
Head.
it internally, they just
And
announced
Lonnie
it.
Kai.
Lonnie Kai does
Yeah,
that.
some places they'll
Oh,
just.
wait, Lonnie Kai does have a marketing person, or they did anyway. I don't know if she's still there.
Galway's got it with all their group, well, it's Galway, Diamond Head, and Ponestero. Those
So
are three.
that's like this, that Sunseeker. or whatever.
Sunseeker, that whole group.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would think with your kickball idea, which I think is great, by the way, I mean, even if the employees of those places could put together a team, I think it'd be.
Yeah, we just we didn't want to try to offer it in the summer. We just felt like with the
It's
heat
too
and
brutal.
the amount of
Summer,
Yeah.
I think.
rainouts and lightning, and so. But yeah, it's definitely something we want to.
But that was a good way to get your foot in the door with marketing of other programs that we'll have in the future.
Right.
Once we start rolling again, here, hopefully, we
Yeah.
won't have any more interruptions.
Who does our marketing, visual and everything? Who does that?
I think Nicole.
Nicole, yeah, she's our communications director.
Yeah, I just think that we've got that beautiful new sign out there. I mean, it's like, when I see, this is how I envision Bay Oaks advertising it. A beach, a palm tree, and it's like, oh, I'm going to an island, and I play pickleball and tennis on an island, and having this,
Right.
bring me to the facilities I can work out on the island. And I think that green and the whole logo is just not real welcoming versus that new sign out there is awesome. And
Right.
just kind of re-promoting the whole look of it without spending any money, just upgrading that and making it bright. I mean,
Okay.
versus the green, give us the pinks and the blues off of that sign, that logo, we've already got it made.
Well, just all of the colors in our logo.
Yeah, and pull that out together. I think we just, like I said, we've got a lot of things we can offer right now. Let's just get those promoted and just keep adding on to them.
Well, I can just say, I once was a visitor here before we moved here. If I went on a bike ride when I was a visitor here, I had no idea that this was even back here. Not
Most people
whatsoever.
said
There are
that for
still
years.
people that don't know this is
Right.
back here.
That's why that first attempt at that big sign.
Yeah.
Because nobody
Yeah.
ever knew it was here.
Yeah.
Is it lit at night?
I
That
don't
sign?
think so.
It's supposed to be, we're still waiting for FPL to hook it up.
Still
That's
waiting
my
for-
understanding.
yeah.
Because they're trying to get all the street lights first and then,
And those lights have actually been there for, what is it, close to a year?
yeah, they're mounted,
Yeah.
they're just not hooked
I know.
into anything, so.
Really need to get that
Well,
running.
and the other thing
Right.
is, we keep talking about the shades.
Yeah, the shade
That would
structures.
be a colorful hint,
Yes.
you know, that there's something back here. I've seen a bunch of people working out even in this miserable.
Yeah, me too. Like,
Yeah.
the hottest part of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not from there.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Neil, who is responsible for getting this RAC brochure developed, and do we have a budget for it for this fiscal year, not proposed? Because, you know, if we're going to be opening this up in July, we have July through October where we need to get those RAC brochures to
Right.
those resorts. So is there, who's responsible?
No, we have a budget for
Okay.
that, yeah. So that'll be, I'll be working on that with the staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can get those out probably by the end of next month, after we do the opening? Soft
Certainly,
opening?
yeah, we've got like the old proofs to kind of go off of, so
Okay.
the staff will be able to assist me with that, just going in and whatever we need to update. But, yeah,
And so staff then distributes them to the various businesses?
that's the plan, yeah,
Okay.
and whether it's a couple of us, just
Right.
yeah. Right now it's challenging because the staff are all with the summer campers, and the campers can be dropped off as early as 8, and then they can be picked up as late as 5. And so they're all, everybody will have 2 staff come in at 8, the other 3 come in at 9, and then,
You print them, I'll get you the volunteers, and I'll get them delivered.
okay. Yeah, no, that's helpful. I mean,
You get them
certainly.
set, I'll get them out.
Okay.
Well, I'll pull people together and get them out. I understand you're shorthanded.
Okay, getting back to then the fee schedule with regard to the proposed rates for this coming fiscal year. I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve, or we actually don't have the figures for proposed, but we do have the current fee. Is there a motion that we want to continue those same rates? What are your thoughts?
So moved.
Second.
All right, I'm not making the motion. You guys have to make the motion.
We just did.
Motion to
Michelle,
approve.
okay, Michelle,
I think
okay,
the motion was to not change the current fee schedule.
Exactly.
all right. Motion to take the current fee and apply it to the proposed fee. And we seconded by Joy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Thank you, motion carried. So that then provides you with your next steps then to Neil.
So just kind of an update on the budgets, just so you know. So they'll be working on the budgets internally in July. And then August 4th is our first council meeting back after the July break. And that's where we have to set the preliminary millage
Millage
rate.
rate, yes.
And so that will start with that budgeting, and we'll get kind of the preliminary budget before we do that. That'll be presented. And then it goes through fine tuning all of August, and then September 11th at 5:01 p.m. is the first budget meeting that takes place. And then September 24th is the final. So all the work will go in July and August. So the fact that we have these approved by the group and then that'll go roll into it, but that's kind of the schedule for the next couple of months.
Right, of course, what we're doing is we're voting to approve the recommendation that goes to council. in consideration for their budget conversations going forward.
I mean, can you change the fees in halfway through the fiscal year? And say till like next July?
No.
Yeah, you
You
could
can-
do an amendment.
Well, you can, but it, I haven't seen that work well unless it's an expense. If it's an income thing, I have not seen amended budgets for income, but I have seen it for expenses.
So if there was a change in fees, now would be the time to do it before council goes into the budget session.
Right, because we're offering our recommendations to them.
Right, so this is, I still think they should stay the same at this point.
You think what?
They should stay what they currently are.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well,
So,
quite honestly, since we did these, we have barely been open with all the
Yeah,
correct.
you've not even tested.
No,
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've barely been open since these went into place.
So this
so
fee schedule is 1 year old, 2 years old? The current one?
It's probably going on 3 because it was before Hurricane Ian.
Okay.
It was the
Right.
budget implemented before Hurricane Ian, so that was 22.
Okay.
So it was 3.
But
You're
after,
right, we never had a chance to activate the schedule. No, because the budget year began October 1st, the
Right.
hurricane was December 28th, 3 days before the
Right.
beginning of the budget, so this current was never put into place.
So then we can see if it works, so that for next year, we should track it carefully and see how many people and all that kind of thing, and then.
And what the
that'll
pushback
give us-
is.
Right. This is good.
Yeah, one of the pushbacks, you know, I'm sure you've already heard it, I have a lot of people ask, and I think we talked about it, is, so I paid for my membership, the hurricane hit, am I gonna be grandfathered back? I've had people ask about that, so I'm not sure whether or not that's something we want to communicate, or people are gonna deal with it when they come in, but you're gonna wanna be prepared for that.
No, and we, so what we paused all the memberships when we closed. And anybody that's come in or called, you know, we let them know, like, whatever they had remaining when we paused is what they'll get back.
So they're grandfathered.
Yeah, and, you know, the first month that
That's
we're
great.
basically, well, through middle of August, so a little bit more than a month, it'll be, you know, reduced rates and basically free for residents, so. Yeah, and, the staff already took care of that, and it's a simple thing, when they come back in, it'll recognize when we scan their membership that they still are current, they have
Okay.
that time remaining.
Great. I might have one more topic on the rec center.
Okay.
And it's just me because everybody knows like we come in here 7 days a week. Is there any way we can get maintenance to at least clean the weeds up in the entranceway here? It just looks terrible out here.
Yeah,
I mean, we've got rock and mulch literally like 100 feet away in the mound systems back here.
Yeah, we
We're
want
talking
to,
we can drop some
we are
mulch
gonna do
before the gym
some
opens
tidying
and we
up.
start getting a lot more. I mean, we've got population coming through and you know,
Sure.
everybody here, but
Right.
I don't know if there's a way that we can kind of, and I'm just talking around the building.
Right,
It still looks very hurricane-ish.
Thank you.
yeah.
That used to be the garden club that was part of that maintenance on a regular basis.
It used to.
I don't know if it's
Yeah,
still
and
active.
there's great plants in there. If someone would just get in and weed
The
it.
volunteers used to do that. I'm not quite sure, is there any falling out between the garden club and the town?
I don't know, I saw somebody waiting the other day. He was pulling out a bunch of, and it was one of the town guys. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just our Jim who kind of does like all the, you know, mowing, maintenance of the.
I didn't say he did a great job, I'm just saying I saw him doing it.
But no, certainly, yeah, we've talked about that, so trying to figure out what we want to do and make sure it's something that when we get those really heavy rains, doesn't wash out, so.
Well, so is the town ultimately responsible for the upkeep of that landscaping around this particular building?
Correct, yeah, I mean, the garden club, I haven't really, I don't know what the status is, I haven't, so, you know, I guess I
I
can.
think they were a little put off by the fact that they were doing all of the work down by Lynn Hall Park.
Okay,
And then the town came in and removed everything that they
Okay.
had put in and put in their own landscaping. And so it was not a good thing. I'm not quite sure what the status is there.
okay. I can,
maybe just follow up. If they are in fact responsible for maintaining that which they planted here on this area, then they should be aware that it needs to continue to your point. It has to look good, especially with upcoming season. They should. Okay, anything more with regard to the fee schedule? I think we've made the motion and approved that, so we move forward with the Friends of Bay Oaks Recreation Center. So the Friends activity, Michelle, is that for you?
Yep.
All right.
Let's go. I have passed these out. What I'm looking for is a motion that we're going to move forward. The good news is we have found some wonderful candidates to join this group. I have, with the help of Karen, I've reached out to Friends of Lovers Key. I found all their minutes, their charters. I've got copies of all their stuff. Denise Monahan has got me everything that they have. Everyone's so funny. They're like, this is what I scanned before the hurricane. So I have a whole file here for this group. Attached, I put together the names that we have. Bill Murphy, Brian Beck just joined. He is a full-time resident, uses the rec center. Jack Walker, we just added this week. Julie, which of course everyone knows, Mike Cleary, and Dawn Fleming. I put these positions on here only because I've also got Becky trying to get the checking account moved over to Dawn Fleming. And they need something in writing from us that says this is a board. So I think this will be enough for the bank to be able to get the checking account moved over. But my thought process was that this letter goes out to these candidates and we get this group going. I'm proposing that they would just go before or after our meeting, so that I threw that out as dates, and that Neil and I can, or whoever wants to join, at least do a kickoff meeting with them. I think they need to get some history on everything that we know, what's happening, and get them grounded. I've started an agenda for them. They have got their articles of incorporation have got to be done, the 901's got to be done. Of course, I'm going to do the bank. By the way, Karen gave me a check today.
All right.
That's actually left over.
This is the missing check.
That's the new one.
Yeah, right. And as soon as we can get the bank to transfer over, we can ask Neil to ask the town for our money out of their account.
Who has to sign that?
Becky will go meet, Dawn has agreed to take on checking, so Becky and Dawn will go over with this letter. We got a letter from Suncamp? I'm not saying Sandcap. And they basically just asked for documentation that this group exists. So I have the articles of incorporation, the original ones. I got the FEMA, the federal tax ID paperwork for them. I've got a whole pack for them to go to the bank and get this new account set. So the bank would be off and going. And then I proposed that back in August, this team, I'm going to email them if everybody's okay with this and get them going.
Why don't you have Denise go to your kickoff meeting too? Denise Monahan. I bet you she would go.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea.
You know,
That's a great idea.
I mean, for history, I mean, who else?
Yeah, no,
does
I've
that?
got that. That's a great idea. I'll ask her if she could join it also.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll do it.
Yeah. This has not gone out yet. I just put this all together and was looking for approval to get this group going.
and we've got one more that Joy emailed me. His name's Michael Wilkie. I don't think.
Okay.
I forget his name.
Yeah, I've got the email right now.
Oh,
so-
yeah, he's on Linnell. He's not full-time, but he's part-time, and he said he would be a member.
Okay.
And what's his name?
It's
Michael Wilkie.
He
W-I-L-K-I.
plays softball. That's how I
If
found him.
somebody could just send me his phone
I can
number,
send it
email
to you.
address, and name, I'll add it to
Okay.
the list also.
And the only because I was kind of dealing mostly with I think Mike, Julie, Dawn, and Bill, and so I know Dawn has kind of agreed to be like the
She's the secretary.
I'm not really sure if does there have to be a chair technically, because it's it's more of a group.
Yes.
It does have to be present.
Yes.
Bill Murphy was somewhat interested, but he's
So let me
seasoned.
qualify. This is strictly for the bank. and for
Okay.
us to look at.
Okay.
I'm going to take the titles off, and that
Okay.
group can vote on their things. This is
Gotcha.
just to get us in there, but yes,
Okay.
they do have to decide, because the Artists of Incorporation,
Well, they have
in
to
order us to
elect.
get us filed, they have to at minimally have a president, vice president, secretary, treasurer. We also, I need to go look here, I believe that we may not, which they can rewrite them, but I think the current articles state that there can only be 7 officers, and I think we would be at 8 if we add that one on there.
So
So,
he wouldn't be an officer, he's
No,
just a
officers.
member.
No, the officers are just
The
the
three.
members.
The rest of the members,
Okay.
just
we should have as
Okay.
many members.
Just making
Oh,
sure, so
okay.
they've got
The more members, the better.
members.
And in
Okay.
fact, all of us can be
President, vice
members.
president.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can
Just
certainly
can't
be
be on
members, I'd
executive
like to put my name
Okay.
as a member.
You can't be an officer.
We just can't be an officer.
So we
That's the
can't
only
be members
difference.
in
We
the
can be
town.
members,
Yeah, yeah.
but we can't be
At the
Absolutely.
board.
We just can't be one of the 3 officers.
Okay.
We can't have 2 decision makers serving on
Gotcha.
both committees, both.
So here's the other thing that's going on right now is the Women's Club is taking names and teams and 501c3 signups for the Putt and Putt. So that check was from 2 years ago when we thought we had the Friends of Bales up and running, and then it didn't. So we didn't participate last year, but we should get in there because it's, it'll $1,500, $2,000.
It's good.
So you reach out to, I think Dawn Thomas is, I can send you Dawn's information.
Okay.
Dawn Thomas is heading up the signups, right? Is
I
it-
think she's still doing it,
I think,
yeah.
I think she is. So I'll send you Dawn Thomas's info.
Absolutely, I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to do it?
Yeah,
Joe?
yeah,
That'd be great. And
That'd be
just
great.
get our name on there that we want to hold. That we are officially now 501c3
Yeah.
and we want to hold and all that kind of stuff to represent. Because, I mean, it's good money. I think Letter Ski I think our check was almost $3,000 last year for Letter Ski. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great event for nonprofits.
So hopefully when we have our meeting next month, Michelle, you'll be able to say we've got money at the bank.
Are we meeting next month?
No.
Oh, we're not meeting
Yeah,
in
be August.
Okay,
yeah.
August, yes.
Okay, so these are, you're gonna send me the additional officer, potential officer. on
He's
here.
not, he just wants to be a member. I don't,
I'm just a member. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're gonna send me his name. So who on here also wants to be a member?
Oh, I'm happy
I'll
to
be a member.
Okay.
I'm happy to be a member.
A member's easy.
Unless
You don't have to do
dues are
anything.
$5,000 a piece. Forget about it.
No, it's just volunteering a lot.
Volunteer, yeah, exactly.
Okay, so then it works, that's why I proposed that they meet before or after this meeting. Is what I have in my proposed letter. 2 hours before, 2 hours after, so that there's in conjunction with us, so that we can, stick with them.
Okay, and that doesn't have to be recorded by the town because that's a separate entity
Correct.
altogether. So,
Yeah. So if everyone's all right with the plan, I will send this out and I'll get a hold of Becky and hopefully I have gotten all the paperwork she needs to go get this moved over to Dawn and we'll start collecting money.
Okay, and I'll give you, that's
The other one, okay.
information. Okay.
Okay.
So just so you know too, once the town hall gets officially open, like we get our elevator and everything, there's all kinds of meeting rooms in there for 501c3s, for any of our advisory committees and everything. So we'll have space.
Okay, so these meetings could, so Neil, if you can help, we'll coordinate these, tell this group that they'll, when they decide before or after to schedule the meeting room over there.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know how we're going to do it yet, but I know that there's plenty of meeting rooms over there.
And would they, this might be a question over there, because we, I believe only have 2 right now on the list, Julie and Bill Murphy, that will not be back till September. So could we have Zoom access for these folks?
Well, the 501c3 meetings do not have to be public.
No, but can we use the town
No,
facilities
we
to
can't.
do a Zoom call?
So
It's a
Just set up your
we're
own
trying
school.
to separate the friends
Yeah.
from our BORCAB.
No.
So that,
Just to qualify, so that group would be in there, and there's just a couple people, if they can't join, if they, only those two could come in on a Zoom call.
I don't think the town operates any Zoom.
I don't think we do
No.
use these towns.
The town does not officiate over that
Right.
meeting. The Friends group has to meet separately with no town participation.
So they can't use their
It's not
audio.
fair, right, it's
No.
not fair for our town staff to use their time and operations for a private 501c3. So it's a separate, they meet separately.
Like what we do with Friends of Lover's Key, I mean, we just have a Zoom account and pay for it annually, and one person, basically the secretary, is in charge of it with the email and the password, and you just set up your own Zoom calls.
Yeah, can we do that, if
I
we
think-
have that, can we do that through the town's
They can-
audio?
All
I
you
think they
want
can use like
is
the
Wi-Fi.
town's technology and all that, but they just, we can't like
You can't run it.
run it.
All you have to do is just bring a laptop.
Oh, yeah, I was just saying, okay,
Yeah.
they'll just have them bring, I'll have somebody bring a laptop to bring in the other folks then.
Yep,
That's what it is.
they can
Okay.
call in, or they can, be on video screen or whatever.
Okay, so we can use the town's facilities, but we'll bring a laptop to Zoom in.
And then all you have to do is get on the Wi-Fi.
Okay,
Yeah.
that work?
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you, Michelle, and thank you, Karen.
Yes, thank
Well
you.
done. Moving forward.
Can I go first?
Yes, member items.
All right, 'cause I gotta
Sure,
go.
you can go first.
So I don't know what the protocol is, okay, for membership or new people or whatever, but I do have a concern with Betty. I know that she's been not great, and I can't pick her up anymore because of sunshine laws. And so I think that we should consider a different person for chair. Just simply because I think there's something up with her, and God love her. I mean, she's done a lot for the town, and I appreciate that. And this is not personal at all, but I do think that the BORCAB needs someone that can be here. And so I've said my piece. I don't know how everyone feels, but like I said, I think she's done a super job to that point, but it looks like she's not able to attend.
So how does everyone feel about that? Of course, because it's not an agenda item, there's no action that can be taken. We can certainly put that on the agenda for August, but I don't obviously want to blindside the bid.
No, I just
right?
wanna know.
But I think, I'm glad you brought it up. I think it is a concern. Even if she's well, she has transportation issues, but who's going to be able to bring her because she no longer can drive? So that's a huge obstacle. I know the Bay Oak staff, both Neil and Jeff, have been very generous with offering to pick her up and take her home, but I think that's a bit of an imposition for town staff to be responsible for. So, for all those various reasons, do you want to consider putting that on as a potential item for the August meeting?
That's certainly on the agenda for discussion.
For discussion on the agenda.
Take action.
So should somebody reach out to Betty and just ask her what her thoughts are? I mean, because there's a couple of different ways. I think she may be up for reappointment in October.
That's what I was wondering.
And we can check that out with
Amy?
I mean, if she would decide to resign before October, then we could backfill it in the short term, or just leave it. No, we can't leave it open because then we won't have quorums, but we could backfill it. Or if she decides not to reapply, and then we need to get more people involved in applications and that kind of thing. So it'd be nice to know kind of what she's thinking.
But I think we can't call her, so it's either gonna have to be Neil or Jeff.
That's true, because it's an upcoming
Right,
vote.
so it has to be Neil or Jeff or Karen.
Well, just as a
She's not up till October
She's not up
26th.
until October 26th.
But this is just for, this is
Yeah.
just to be the chair.
Right, I mean, that's my only concern
Affect the membership
is,
on the committee at all.
right,
Correct.
although it's kind of both.
Well, because if she doesn't, if she's not here, then we don't have a quorum all the
Right.
time.
And I'm not interested in being chair, by the way, so we need to, not me. You guys can be the next chair, but and I'm happy to be vice chair, but I'm already the chair of one advisory board. To me, that's inappropriate. In fact, it's probably inappropriate for me to even be vice chair and chair of another. That's a little incestuous as far as I'm concerned as well. So, but I have no trouble backing off of vice president's role either if you want to replace me as well. No worries whatsoever. But yes, great things for you to bring up, Joy. Thank you very much. So can we, Neil, put that on as a topic of discussion for August? Now, if she's not up for reappointment,
Somebody needs to call her.
I think that might be an appropriate thing for staff to contact her,
Okay.
because it's not something that we can do.
Let me have it go through the clerk's office to reach out to her, because all the applications and everything go through the clerk's office and everything like that, and so either Amy or Jason.
So it's a little bit of a removal, yeah, exactly.
And that way we can just find out what her intentions are, kind of thing, and kind of go from there.
I know how it is to grow older. There's a little bit of denial to say, well, wait a minute, I can still do this. And she's got that kind of can-do personality. And so, this might give her hopefully a pause for thought. Okay, I have nothing more to report. Thank you, Joy. Anything more for you? How about you, Ed?
I don't have anything new, I just wanted to, I was happy to hear about your kickball idea, because I think that we can do so many more things here, and that's a good start.
Thank you.
Nothing more?
No? Okay. No more public commendations here. Next meeting is set for the regularly scheduled in August. What date is that? I don't have my
It's August 20th.
I need to dial in.
You need to dial in?
I do.
Okay. Let's put in the record
I'll
that
be in order.
Joy is going to be calling in.
Yeah, it's August 20th.
August what? I'm sorry?
August 20th.
20th. Okay, August 20th is the, and that's at noon. And that will be here
Unless we know otherwise.
unless we know otherwise. Thank you. All right. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move to it.
All right, Ed, thank you. Motion to adjourn second.
Second.
Joy, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank
None?
you.
Meeting adjourned. It is 12:56.